first speaker for this afternoon is Paul Larson, who is a certified performance coach and author of award-winning book, Find Your Voice as a Leader. He has over 30 years of business experience with senior level responsibilities, including heading a $3 billion organization. He is an accomplished leadership consultant and speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming on stage Mr. Paul Larson.
Thank you. What a wonderful welcome. Wow, that was like an amazing opening. So where's JC? JC, yeah, that was just so heartfelt. So that just, you can open any meeting that I'm at, that I'm at. And continuing on, everyone just did such a wonderful job. Every time that the Philippine national anthem is played, I tear up. I love the Philippines. So thank you. This is such an honor. This is such an honor to be here. And it's such an honor to speak with peers in the speaking community. And when Scott, and Lloyd, by the way, all those chats you had, that chat log you had with Lloyd, you had with Scott, he does that with all of us. So I've heard all those things. You don't even have to say Scott's name. It's like, yeah, that's Scott. Yeah, that's Scott. Yeah. You aren't being responsive. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss the opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. No, you are in valued, sponsored, and very heartfelt company, my friend. So Scott is a very special guy, and you will all get a chance, if you haven't had a chance yet, to hear and see him later. And I'm here with a special group of people from Together We Can Change the World. So for the next few minutes, I just want to talk a little bit about finding your voice as a speaker. Now, it kind of goes without saying, voice, speaker, it certainly is part of your creed in terms of what is your voice? And what does PAPS do? But what do you individually do as a speaker? And what brought you into speaking? So on one of the chat logs that I just saw up there, Scott referred to us as seasoned pros. And I was like, wow, pros? Yeah, seasoned, definitely. I am well seasoned. A lot of history. And I love what I do. And I think what I want to share with you today is, why do you choose to be a speaker? Who is the audience you are serving? What is the impact you want to have? What is that legacy you want to have as a speaker? What I do as an executive coach, as a leadership coach, besides coaching myself in my life, and besides coaching who I am as a speaker, I work with a lot of leaders on finding their voice. So what I'm going to go through with you today is kind of what I do with leaders, because we're all leaders in our life. And especially as speakers, how do you find your voice? And to give you some tools, techniques, and resources that you can kind of maybe take with you, or at least pivot you in thinking, what do I need to do next in my speaking career? What do I need to do next in my life? So I did one of the very first things when I walked in here today, besides saying hello, shaking some hands, meeting some people, I did one of the most diva things you can do as a speaker. I said, I have to go first. I have to go first. I have to go first. I think I was like the sixth speaker. And Chris was so generous and so full of gratitude. And I said, I have to apologize, but I have a competing appointment later this afternoon. And I said, I definitely don't want to miss this, but I've got another meeting. So one of the first things I did, and I really appreciate that generosity and that gratitude in kind of shifting that agenda. So the places you'll go, today is your day. Think about that as a speaker. Today is your day, and PAPS is your community. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. So I always like to think, what are you waiting for? And especially in speaking, the world needs your voice. The world needs you to speak, but not just to speak about anything, to speak about something that comes from your heart, to speak about a message that you have, an expertise, a gift that you have for the rest of the world. What is your voice as a speaker? So if I asked you that on break, when we go, when maybe after our meeting, after I come back, and I say, what is your voice? How would you answer that? What is the message that you are providing as a speaker to the global community and to the Filipino community? What is that voice? What is that unique value that you bring as a speaker versus anyone else that may speak on this same stage or any other stage like it? What is your unique voice? Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams, and that's kind of hard to say sometimes because he was so iconic and such a wonderful person. He said it best. You must strive to find your own voice because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all. And that came from his character in Dead Poets Society. The longer you wait, and you know what the beauty is of all of you in this room and the formation of PAPS, and just listening to the conversations and the connections with Conrad and Lloyd earlier, and I really appreciate that on Facebook. You've already started on your journey of finding your voice and finding your voice as a speaker. But what are you going to do next? We talk about voice. The very first thing around voice is, what do you value as a speaker? What are your values? What is your GPS? What is your speaker DNA? Why are you speaking? Why do you choose to speak? Why do you choose to get in front of people and share a message? What is that? That usually comes from our values. That's the very first piece of the model of voice. That V is values. This is what I value as a speaker. This is what I value. This is what I want to share. So be very clear on your value as a speaker. As I mentioned to you, I have gone through most of my life not always being clear about what I value or why I value what I do. And I find myself sometimes just doing it. And then thinking, why am I doing it? It feels good, it's fun. So, case in point, I've worked many years in organizations, and I always enjoyed getting in front of people and talking. But I didn't understand why I valued that. I didn't understand what it was that energized me or engaged me. I knew I understood that I liked it, and I knew I understood that I could do it reasonably well in terms of communicating, but I wasn't clear why I valued it. And it wasn't until about 2012, 2013 that I joined up with NSA in the States. And I understood that there was this whole speaking community of professional speakers that had clarified their values of why they do what they do, how they clarified their message to the world as a speaker. And that's what differentiates an A speaker from a C speaker, is that you have a message and you have clarified your message because you understand your values within. Once I understood that, I was like, wow, I actually value serving the audience, serving the community. Before that, guess who I was serving as a speaker? Me. Once I understood I am serving the community, I am serving the audience, I am here for you, that shifted and that pivoted who I was as a speaker. That made my topics, that made my engagements, that made my message, that made my content so much clearer. And it also made me understand what I didn't want to do as a speaker, that I actually had a message to send, a message to convey, and to learn as much from the audience as they could learn from me. Now, along with along with your values is your outcomes. So once you clarify your values, you have to clarify your outcomes. That's the O in voice. You kind of see a little rhythm here. V-O-I-C-E. V-O-I-C-E. I'm going to have you dance a little bit later. So the V is values, the O is outcomes. What are your outcomes? What are you looking for? Especially as you develop your speaking business, or your training business, or your facilitation business. What are those specific outcomes? Oh, I want to speak more. Oh, I want to speak globally. Oh, I want to speak. I want to speak. I want to speak on coaching. I want to speak on this topic. I want to speak on that topic. What are those specific outcomes that you're looking for as a speaker? What is your vision? In coaching, do we have any coaches in the room? Good, yeah, we have a few. How about trainers? Trainers? Yeah, lots of trainers. Facilitators? Yeah, good. In coaching, one of the first tenets of coaching is that we take our clients from current to future. Current to future. Current to future. We don't deal with the past. The past is, the past is the past. And we can get stuck in the past. And there's a lot of legacy baggage in the past. But really, where are you currently and where do you want to go? And it's that journey that you want to envision for yourself. It's that journey that you want to take those baby steps and set up those baby steps so you can create that speaking business or whatever business you're in for yourself to have that measure of success. So we've got, what does V stand for? What does O stand for? Great. Any guesses on the I?
Intention.
Ah, that's a good one, Raju. Almost.
Intentions.
Almost. Influence. Influence. You want to be that magnet. You want to be that magnet that attracts the people that you want. That attracts the business. That attracts the situations. You want to influence your own success. It won't be given to you. You are not entitled to it. You have to create it for yourself. You have to look and you have to be very deliberate about the steps you take in terms of how you influence. One of the first tenets of influence is building relationships with trust and credibility. Walking the talk, as we say. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Become somebody who can be trusted. Become somebody who has credibility. Not somebody who has to be liked. There's a difference. Those of you that are, how many of you are managers at all in companies or have management experience? Right. One of the first things I learned as a manager, made every mistake there was to make in the book, is that I wanted to be liked. Because I figured if I could be liked, I'd be a good manager. I'd be popular. Doesn't work that way. You don't want to be necessarily liked. You want to be trusted and respected. Trusted and respected. So always look at that in terms of the relationships you have, the relationships that you build in your business and in your community. That's what instills influence. So values, outcomes, and right, leads us to C. This is the hardest one. Courage. Stepping out of your comfort zone. What are the steps that you need to take to step out of your comfort zone to build your business? To become that speaker? Now think about it. Just some of you standing up here with the microphone. That's stepping out of your comfort zone. And for most of the world, what we do as speakers, wow, that is like stepping out of everyone's comfort zone. People look and say, wow, how do you do that? You kind of stand up there in front of people and you talk? Wow. But that is courage, stepping out of your comfort zone. What will it take for you to step out of your comfort zone? And how do you know when you need to step out of your comfort zone? Later on, my colleagues are going to probably talk a little bit about building the business and how you actually build business. That means building those relationships. That can be one of the hardest things when you build your own business, especially as a speaker. Why do people want to hire me? I don't think they want to hire me. How do I even get in the door? How do I even talk to them? How do I even establish that contact? All those things can mean stepping out of your comfort zone. But if you do it with your clarity around your values, a clear vision, you establish those relationships little by little, the courage will come. You need to be deliberate about when you step out of that comfort zone and stay out of that comfort zone, because that's when you will learn and that's when you will grow. And finally, expression is the E in voice. So what is V? What is O? What is I? What is C? And what is E? Expression. Nobody can convey an expression better than my nephew and his new wife. They got married. That was a picture when they got married in City Hall in San Francisco, which is where I'm based. So it's such an honor to come across the ocean to visit all of you and to bring my nephew and his new wife with me, at least in photo. Your expression as a leader, your expression as a speaker, your expression as a person is your legacy, is your impact, is your presence. What do people say when they think of your name or when they say your name? Does your presence walk into the room before you? Does your brand come in before you? How do you deliberately build your brand as a speaker? What is your brand as a speaker? What are you known for? What is your expertise? Those are all the things that are conveyed in your expression. But you can't get to that unless you are really clear with your values and clear with your vision and outcomes and start building those relationships and are willing to step out of your comfort zone. You won't be able to build that brand because you won't know what that brand is. And that brand will be very confusing. It'll be confusing to you and confusing to others. The last thing I want to sort of leave with you today, as we talk about sort of what is your speaker POD? Your speaker pod. What is your purpose? What is your outcome? And how do you be deliberate? So as a speaker, what is the purpose that you are looking for? What is the outcome you're looking for in all your exchanges and all your interactions? And how deliberate do you need to be with all your communication, with all your engagements, with all your relationships, with all your action? Purpose, outcome, and being deliberate. So when I ask you, we have a chance to talk later, meet and greets, and we'll talk, you can, I can ask you some questions, you can ask me, and so forth. I want to ask you, what's the purpose of what you're doing? What's the outcome you're looking for of that action? And how deliberate do you need to be? Those are lessons I've learned in the business world, and those are lessons I've learned in life. This is really important. I use this quote in almost every presentation that I give. Zig Ziglar, don't become a wandering generality. This is so critical for speakers. There are so many speakers out there. There are so many speakers that can create white noise. You know what white noise is? It's just like, that fan that just dropped. Don't become a wandering generality. Don't just wander and drift through your speaking community. Be a meaningful, specific. Stand for something. You have a gift. You have chosen one of the most honorable professions there is to speak, to convey your message. But make it stand for something. So become a meaningful, specific. And I love this. What is your footprint on the world? We go through our lives leaving our footprints, leaving our mark. What is yours? And as a speaker, you have a chance to touch so many people. So don't lose that opportunity. And lastly, I just say that my voice was made up of my brother David, and my mother Mary, and my father Alfie, and my sister Liz. These people gave me my values. This family gave me who I am. That's my voice. Once I realized what they have transcribed to me in terms of my life and who I am, it became very clear that they are my voice. And that's why I do what I do. Now, they're no longer here, but they are, thank you. But they are with me. So, without further ado, I just want to say it's been a pleasure to be able to present with you. I will see you all a little bit later on today. But again, thank you so much. It's been an honor. Great. Thank you.
I'll get the click.
Great. Thank you.